They're like leaving America entirely. You had Rosie O'Donnell departing. She says she's so happy over there in Ireland. Well, she'll be happy until McGregor gets a seat, right? The fighter who's running for president, and he has a whole platform to make Ireland great again. I don't know. She's going to have to go country shopping. Well, Ellen DeGeneres has just fully, as of today, divested all of her property in the US of A. Yeah, she moved to the UK, to the English countryside, you see, with her dear wife, Portia de Rossi. And they moved about 4 months ago, but now they've finally managed to sell all of their property, and they had a lot of it. Yeah, and it was because of Trump. She said she just can't live here with Donald Trump as president. So I think we say good riddance, who cares? She had a lot of property, though. One of her properties there, let me see if I can show you a picture of it. This thing was $96 million out in California, her Montecito home. So she sold this puppy and again moved to the English countryside, where apparently she has an $18 million farmhouse, but she's preserving some capital there because, hey, 96 down to 18, I guess she's thinking strategically. Maybe she has to think strategically. There's a lot of people who actually think there's one person who knows exactly why she left, and it has nothing to do with Donald Trump. That might be Kash Patel over at the FBI. Because you see, we haven't heard much about this guy lately, now have we? Sean Combs, P. Diddy, whatever you want to call him. Ellen DeGeneres was one of the people that used to go to those parties. And so this has come out in the media. Daily Mail did a story on this. He apparently used to have her there at these wild parties, these crazy parties, where allegedly there were tapes of everything that was going on. And somehow the feds busted in on him and got all the tapes, and now he's in jail, and we haven't heard a whole lot. But I think we might. I really do. And I wonder if that's why she was trying to divest herself of all things U.S. Hey, maybe she can flee to some crazy country, really crazy country, not just the UK, which, sometimes seems a little bit crazy itself. But remember this tweet. I've showed you this before. Happy birthday, P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean Combs, or as I call him, Cuddle McSnugglestuff. You don't need to know why. I think I kind of know why. I don't want to think about it, though. Here's a bunch of Australian commentators coming to the same conclusion that I'm coming to. Listen.
They're losing their minds.
She sounded so sincere, didn't she?
Very sincere.
Virtually choke on her words. But the best one for me is Ellen DeGeneres, who is, by the way, a very nasty person. I've had dealings with her in Australia.
Bit of
could I tell you some stories about that cow? But anyway, good riddance to her. But she was quite friendly with that P. Diddy bloke, wasn't she?
Well, this is why I say release the Diddy files.
Yeah.
Release the Diddy files. Come on, Donald Trump. We want to know whose name.
So maybe she's hightailing out of there before all that is thrown at her as well. But what a bunch of hypocrites. I wonder if
I'm just dying laughing because you hear me. I started to laugh. And then because I'm stuck with the remnants of this cold, I started to cough. Anyway, I'm dying laughing, especially because the way the woman delivers it. She's like, oh, that cow, she's not a very nice lady. Well, she's out of here. Okay, she's out of here. And I think Rosie O'Donnell, fine. You want to go back to the homeland, Ireland, I get it. I love the homeland too. I'm going there this August. Ireland is a wonderful place, a great country. But why is DeGeneres going to the UK? Why is she fleeing the US? Oh, yeah, she told us. It's because she doesn't like Donald Trump, except that there may be a whole lot more going on. Again, going back to what maybe Kash Patel is the only one that really knows this right now. I think the FBI and the DOJ are going to have to do some more. I mean, we got Epstein, we got Diddy, we got to figure out what went on with the Russia hoax. I hope Pam has a big staff. That's all I can say. I hope she has a really big staff. And I hope, by clearing out all of these people that shouldn't be there, and there's a lot of them, I'm hoping that they can get talented people in there that can really take some of this stuff on. I have a source there at DOJ who tells me that's exactly what they're doing, and you're going to see a whole lot more, because I do worry that this administration is still vulnerable to things like what we saw with Signal, right? So they're on Signal, and I guarantee you that was a hack. I guarantee, because like how else does Jeffrey Goldberg, of all people from The Atlantic, be the one that they put on there? I mean, come on. Right? Mike Waltz, he's saying, oh, my responsibility. But let's just be clear, guys. That doesn't even make any sense. I don't believe it's a staffer either. I know so many of you are like, oh, look at the staffer. No, that's too obvious. It's too easy. Somebody got into his phone contacts. You know, you have these phones, right? And you can get into the contacts rather easily, I'm sure, because, you know, our NSA, they're not a bunch of dummies over there. And then they'll say, oh, well, it's their fault for using Signal. Signal that was actually put on their computers and in their phones, and they were told by Biden's CIA it was all go, like use that all day long.
Miss Marr, I want to start with you. Just generally.
Oopsie daisy. That was actually testimony from Ms. Marr, who is the head of NPR and is also coincidentally the head of the board at Signal. That's kind of interesting, right? 6 degrees of separation again? Oh, you really want to talk 6 degrees of separation? Guess who's the judge in the case that was brought against the administration for those Signal texts? One Judge Boseberg. Judge Boseberg, who was the judge who wanted to stop the flight going on the deportations to El Salvador. Judge Boseberg, whose daughter works for an organization funded by USAID, one of these NGOs, that tries to help, from a legal standpoint, the MS-13 gang members. Judge Boseberg, who was the one that let Kevin Kleinsmith, the FBI attorney, who decided he would just forge some documents so he could get that FISA warrant through, so he could spy on Carter Page. He's the one who let him go with just community service time instead of prison. And then Judge Boseberg, who actually was the one who said, no, we're not going to allow Hillary Clinton's 15,000 emails to come out right during an election cycle. We will wait till after the election back in 2016. You see, this is adding up in a very, very strange way.